ATB Travel Talks 2023. Manvendra Singh ist hier bei mir von Tamarind Global, ein indischer Anbieter im Mais- und Luxussegment. What is the current situation concerning your business in Austria?
Overall, if you look at the Indian market currently, for the summer 2023, travel is back with a big bang. I mean, international travel is really doing well. Where it comes to Austria, there is travel that is happening, but there are some shortcomings like, not only Austria, but many other countries. There are some challenges happening with the visas. But I'm sure that's not, as of now, that's not unique to Austria, but I'm sure that'll kind of streamline itself.
It could be easier, so to put it.
I'm sure, and again, while that is a challenge, it's not unique only to Austria currently. There are quite a few destinations that are still facing challenges with the visas. Yeah, but there's a big shift in what we're seeing in the Indian travel trade currently. And if you want me to talk about that, we're seeing the trends have really changed after 2019. And what we're seeing at Tamarind Global is basically, before 2019, if you went to a dinner party, you would have somebody say, oh, I'm going to Europe for a holiday. And everybody would go, oh, wow, you're going to Europe. And it was a great conversation to have. That has entirely shifted now. Just going to Europe is not good enough anymore. So now the conversation is, oh, I went to this place and I did this. So that X factor is now what is important conversation. And I think for us, for somebody like me who's into product development, it's really exciting because it's for us at Tamarind Global to identify what is that it.
That's a very interesting point. What can we offer you then in Austria? What potentials do you see?
Oh, plenty. I mean, plenty. I mean, just starting from what we came out with just this summer. Like in Vienna itself, it's beautiful, but then we introduced a Spanish horse riding show at the Hofburg, and that's generating interest in the Indian market. So that becomes an experience. We're taking them to the Soccer Cafe just to get a feel of that. We're staying at the Grossglockner National Park, we're doing the ice caves, the salt mines, the Mozart concert, which traditionally you wouldn't really see in the Indian market. We've got stuff like bungee jumping from the Europa Brook. And so these are things which are the current conversation. It's no more just good enough to have a product. You have to have that X factor in the product. And so, as I said, it's very exciting times in the Indian market.
What is it specifically, the winter market, winter sports, stuff like this? Is this developing in India?
Very slowly. The winter market, in fact, what's really developing in India currently are the Christmas markets. So people want to travel, in the months of November, December, which about 5 years back was unthinkable for people from India to travel into, countries that are cold in the winter. But when we've seen a big shift, people are traveling to, besides Austria, you're going up to places which are minus 20 degrees Celsius in December and January, going aurora hunting on snowmobiles and that kind of stuff. The Christmas market is something we are very keen to do. Where skiing and those activities are concerned, there is a market, but not a very large segment as yet.
It's more specific.
It's more specific.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so you'll get the population to ski, but it would kind of be not too many people would do that. But yes, they would want to go up to the mountains and see snow and do basic stuff in the snow and not necessarily the activities.
So it's more about finding special sites, special activities, especially.
Correct. And special times of the year.
Special moments. And
yeah,
stuff like.
yeah.
Okay, I see. Is there any specific demand you could tell us here for the Austrian partners? What do you need?
I think from the offering point of view, I mean, that's my personal view. And from the offering point of view, there's so much that Austria has to offer. There's lots. I mean, every nook and corner, whether you're going into the Salzkammergut region, there's so much to offer. I think what would really help is right now Austria is known as a country that you visit along with something else. So we're going to country A, you'll kind of, oh, let's also go to Austria since we're doing that. And so that perception is starting to shift, but very, very slowly. For us, we want to make Austria as, hey, you need to go and spend 10 days in Austria. So I think that is where the change that perception, because spending 2 nights, 3 nights in Austria is not really good enough. And I think that's from being tour operators, that's what we would request or require, is a perception change and make Austria the destination rather than in transit.
Okay, what can we do to help you with that?
I think awareness. I think the last 2 days, the partners here have been absolutely fabulous. I've been working with them for quite a few years. I think it's mainly to build the awareness. Like even when we took out the Spanish horse riding show, we had to educate people that, this exists and there's something special about it. It's UNESCO and you're in Hofburg, and so I think it's mainly to build up awareness in the market while we will continue to do what we do. And so.
Thank you for your insights. Is there any specific, you mentioned the Spanish riding school, is there any other specific highlights or anything you take away from the ATB now?
Just yesterday, I felt a little ignorant because we do the Schafbergbahn in St. Wolfgang, and I was always under the impression that it didn't operate in the winters until yesterday. And I met up with them and they said, no, we operated during Advent and we have the cruise that goes around St. Gilgang and doing all these destinations at Christmas market. So I learned something really good. And I think that's the joy of being here is you're always learning and working with partners who help us put things together. So I think it's always been great support from the partners that we have in Austria.
Thank you for your insights.
All right, and thank you for having me here, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I always love Austria, so I'm going to continue talking about it unless you ask me to not talk about it anymore.
Manvendra Singh, unser indischer Tour-Operator hier bei den ATB Travel Talks 2023.